Hi, my name is Micaela Prisco, and I'm a first-year medical student at the Sophie Davis CUNY School of Medicine in Manhattan, New York. If anybody knows medical students, they know that they sit down and study for like 10 to 12 to 14 hours a day. I know I find myself in the same spot in my house studying for like 12 to 14 hours. And some people call it crazy because they see me rather studying on a Friday or Saturday night than going out with my friends. And some people find it weird, but it's extremely important, and I think we can all agree on that. So now, what would keep me up studying until 3 o'clock in the morning to finish that last lecture? That would be two major things. One of them being my all-time favorite song, and that song is Viva La Vida by Coldplay. I know, kind of weird, but it was always some song my entire life that whenever I was sad about anything, doubting myself or whatever, I would play it and I would feel so energized. And then the other thing being espresso, black coffee. Like this. So a little bit more about myself. I come from Queens, New York. That's about 20 minutes from Midtown Manhattan without traffic. But if anybody knows New York, they know there is always traffic. So my school, Sophie Davis, is on the Upper West Side. And for as long as I can remember, I've always wanted to be a doctor. And that might be due to my family dynamic. I come from an Italian family where family is the root of our values. So they're very important to me. And that was one of the reasons why I chose to be so close in the city to go to medical school, is so I could be close to my family. But my family dynamic is different than most. I have a severely, profoundly, developmentally delayed aunt in my family who is very close to us. She is part of a voiceless community. My entire life I've watched her be mistreated by society, by physicians, be overlooked, and that never set right with me. So she is probably one of the main reasons why I wanted to become a physician, so that I could be the voice for the voiceless. That experience, my life experience with her, growing up watching all of this, led me to Chaclacayo, Lima, Peru. Chaclacayo, there's a hospital there for developmentally and cognitively disabled children, where I stayed and I lived and I worked. And I saw a lot of disabilities there that you wouldn't see in a first world country. And that is pretty much due to the improper healthcare, I should say, that is in this third world country. Improper healthcare, improper nutrition, that led to these disabilities. These people, these children, were given up by their families because they have low socioeconomic status, as well as the stigma attached to the disability that these kids had. That, living there and experiencing that in relation to how I viewed my aunt here in the first world country, really solidified my reasoning to becoming a doctor. And that's also what led me to Sophie Davis. Sophie Davis's mission statement is to serve the underserved. These two major life experiences, my aunt and my experience in Chaclacayo, Peru, has driven me to wanting to be a voice for the voiceless and to serve the underserved. Now, thinking about all of this, right, as a medical student, sitting down and studying for hours at a time, not going out with my friends, sacrificing and doing all this stuff, having to pay so much money, how am I doing it? People might say that it's not worth it at the end of the day. Like, why are you wasting all this time and wasting all this money? Because how are you affording it? For me, I'm doing it by loans, and more loans. So by the end of all this, I'll have a big bill to pay, right? So now, what keeps me going is not only my aunt and all of these personal life experiences that I've witnessed, but it's actually this one quote that I read by an author, Ralph Waldo Emerson. I read it in my first year in college, and it's stuck with me ever since. And it is, to know that one life has breathed a little easier because you have lived, that is to have succeeded. And that is what keeps me going every day. So where are you going to find me in 10 to 15 years? I would say you would find me in a clinic, in my own clinic, in a small town, whether here or abroad, somewhere, being a voice for the voiceless, so that I can make one life breathe a little bit easier.